Hey everyone, Ben Eunson here. Today I'm going to talk to you about soloing with triads on guitar. At first, triads seem to be among the most basic materials that you'll use for soloing. But at the same time, they can often serve as the most vital core element of any guitarist's soloing language. So today I'm going to show you 5 practical concepts relating to triads that you can use to help develop your soloing on guitar. Make sure to hit subscribe down below and click the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Also, make sure to join me on Patreon, where you'll be able to get an extended version of today's lesson, as well as transcribed examples of everything that I'm playing today. And finally, make sure to check out my music, online courses, and bundle packages at my website. We're going to be looking at all of our examples today in the key of C major. And because we're talking about triads, we're going to be using all of the 7 diatonic triads that occur within the key of C major. To make sure we know what all of these triads sound like, let's play through the diatonic triads in root position in C major. Before we go any further, I think it is worth mentioning that what we'll be doing today is primarily looking at concepts and ideas from a theoretical perspective, and then taking those concepts and ideas and applying them to the guitar neck. The most important thing to remember is that we're investigating all of these ideas to help us play music, specifically creative music. So once you feel comfortable with the technical side of all of this, don't be afraid to experiment and try it out with composing, improvising, anything you like. When you're looking at triads in any major key, chords 1, 4, and 5 are always referred to as primary triads. So in the key of C major, that means that our primary triads would be C, the 1 chord, F, the 4 chord, and G, 5 chord. Soloing, or indeed composing with just primary triads, can be a really powerful sound, but it can also be a great exercise in limitation. Can you limit yourself to soloing with just these triads without playing any notes that deviate from the chord tones within the triads? Good question. Let's see how our primary triads can sound when we take a single note soloing approach in C major. Beyond just single note playing, we can of course play our primary triads as chords. Playing triads chordally can be a great addition to any solo. Let's hear how this would work in action. One of the most interesting aspects of the chordal movement that you just heard was that utilizing only primary triads, I was able to play an actual C major scale in the top voice of all of those triadic voicings. Using only the 1, 4, and 5 chords in C major. Pretty amazing that you can spell out the entire C major scale with only primary triads. At the beginning, I played through all 7 diatonic triads in C major in root position. If you were to play these exact same diatonic chords, but in an arpeggiated fashion, you'd have perfect material that you could use in a solo. Let's try this single note approach in real time over our C major sound. One way that you can make your single note triadic soloing a little more interesting, is by applying what we can call a chromatic approach note to each triad. If we were to play our triads as single notes in a descending pattern, it might sound something like this. What we can do is we can add in an additional approach note that occurs a half step below the 5th degree of each triad. So for example, if we have a C major triad, G is our 5th degree. So the note a half step below the 5th degree is F sharp. It creates a pattern like this. Let's hear that in action. Another great way to approach triadic soloing is by incorporating what are called spread triads, sometimes also referred to as open triads. To create a spread triad, what you can do is take a root position triad in C major, for example 1, 3, 5, and rearrange the notes to utilize some wider intervals. For example, we still have 1 C, but instead we're going to go 5 G, and then up the octave, we're going to play E, the 3rd degree. So it'll sound something like this. That'll give you a root position spread triad in C, which means even though they're spread triads, we still have 3 inversions. Root position down the octave, first inversion, and second inversion. Let's try some single note soloing using spread diatonic triads in C major. For our final approach to triadic soloing, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the approaches that we've looked at so far and put them together. It's fascinating to me that triads are often considered to be basic, because you can take all of these triadic concepts that we've looked at so far and put them together to form the basis of a cohesive solo. So what you can do is you can take everything from primary triads to diatonic triads, diatonic triads with a chromatic approach note, and of course spread triads. And you've got everything you need to form a cohesive solo. For transcriptions of everything I've played here today, make sure to join me on Patreon, where not only will you get transcriptions in tab and standard notation, but you'll get an extended version of this lesson that will only be available on Patreon. You can also get all sorts of exclusive transcriptions of solos that I've played here on my YouTube channel. You won't be able to get them anywhere else, as well as additional mini lessons, behind the scenes footage, and all sorts of other great stuff. So make sure to check it out. Also, don't forget to check out my full online courses, bundle packages, and of course my music at my website. And before we go today, make sure you hit subscribe down below and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. And that's it. Make sure you explore the theoretical side of these triadic concepts. Get to know it really well on the guitar neck. And then most importantly, don't forget to be creative with it. Make music with it the way you see fit. And I look forward to hearing what you do with it. I'll see you next time.